Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into a question that's probably crossed your mind if you've ever worked on a project. Why do so many incredibly smart people end up chasing really bad ideas? We're going to explore a classic essay from investor Paul Graham to figure it out. So picture this. Paul Graham is sifting through hundreds of applications for his startup program. He keeps seeing the same thing over and over. Brilliant, talented people pitching ideas that were, well, just doomed from the very start. So what's going on here? To get to the bottom of this, we have to look at Graham's own first startup, what he himself calls his thoroughly boneheaded idea. It's actually the perfect case study in how even the sharpest minds can get it completely wrong. Okay, so the year is 1995. The internet is brand new, it's exciting. The idea? Let's build websites for art galleries. I mean, it sounds pretty sophisticated, right? Forward thinking. But, and this is a big but, there was this one massive fatal flaw hiding in plain sight. It turns out their target customers, art dealers, weren't just uninterested. Some of them were actively hostile to the idea. A lot of them didn't even own computers back then. I mean, just imagine trying to sell a product for free to people who literally do not want it. That's exactly where they found themselves. So yeah, they learned their lesson the hard way. They scrapped Artix and a new company, ViaWeb, was born. And this time, they didn't try to force a product on a market that didn't want it. Instead, they built software for a group that was desperate for it, small businesses who were dying to start selling online. And the result? ViaWeb absolutely took off. You know, that whole Artix story isn't just some one-off fluke. That failure actually gives us this perfect lens to see a really clear pattern of mistakes. 3 psychological traps that smart people, especially founders, fall into again and again. So Graham boils it down to these 3 big traps: the still life effect, the coolness fallacy, and the timidity trap. If we can understand these, we have a much better shot at avoiding them. So let's break each one down. First up is the still life effect. Just imagine an artist who spends days, maybe weeks, painting a really boring bowl of fruit, just because they spent 10 minutes setting it up. It's the sunk cost fallacy on steroids. We get so attached to that first idea that we become blind to all of its problems. Next, we've got the coolness fallacy. I mean, let's be real. Working with art galleries sounds cool, right? It feels prestigious, but it wasn't making any money. You know that old saying, where there's muck, there's brass? It's so true. The unglamorous, kind of boring work is often where the real money is. And the final trap is timidity. The Artix founders were honestly scared of the lions, the big players in the e-commerce space. So they chose this tiny, barren market, acting kind of like a hyena just scavenging for scraps. What they learned later was that the lions weren't nearly as scary as they thought. You know, all 3 of these traps, they're really just symptoms of a much deeper issue. It's about a missing skill that we're almost never taught, but it's absolutely crucial for anyone trying to build something new. Think about it. For pretty much our whole lives, the education system trains us to be excellent problem solvers. From a young age, we're given these very specific challenges and taught how to jump through all the right hoops to solve them. And that creates this problem solver mindset. But here's the twist. The world doesn't just reward people who can solve problems. It rewards people who solve the right problems. The truly valuable skill is being a problem chooser, someone who can spot what people genuinely need. And that's just not something they teach you in school. Okay, so how do you make that jump? How do you go from just being a great problem solver to being a great problem chooser? Well, the shift from just being smart to being truly effective, it all starts with a pretty simple change in perspective. Honestly, the hardest part is simply realizing that choosing a problem is a job in itself. It means you have to step outside your own head, put your own clever ideas on the back burner, and go find out what problems people are actually willing to pay you to solve for them. And out of the ashes of that Artix failure came this incredibly simple 3-word mantra that has guided thousands of startups ever since. Make something people want. It's not about making something cool or something clever. It's all about meeting a real, tangible need. Graham has this fantastic analogy for this. Think of it like this. Raw intelligence and technical skill, that's like copper. It's valuable, sure, but it's kind of soft on its own. Now, the ability to see the world from a customer's perspective, that's like tin. But when you combine the two, you get bronze, an alloy that's exponentially stronger.
A successful startup is one that channels brilliant minds away from abstract, theoretical stuff and toward the everyday, maybe even mundane, issues that real customers are struggling with. That's the secret sauce to creating real value.
So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a final thought to chew on. Are you a problem solver or are you a problem chooser? The answer to that question could be the difference between a brilliant idea that goes nowhere and a truly groundbreaking success.